So this is Zimmariah. She's an 18-year-old Arab mare. I think we've had her for about 9 years. So she's on a 2 to 3 week trim as well, and she's about 3 weeks from her last trim, so she's ready. She had, when we got her, she had severe high-low. So this was a real steep hoof capsule. That was a real, you can still see it in the pastern. She's got a steep pastern on this side and whatever the opposite of steep is, a sloping pastern on the other side. But after the trim, they'll be a little bit more, symmetrical. Don't try to match them, but they just will be. So this is what her foot looks like after about 2.5 weeks since a trim, after running around in a track system with several other horses. So you can see here, she's got about, this is where she has real nice caudal development, by the way. You can see all this is just really nice, thick, beefy stuff. You can see where her true frog ends, right? There's a curve right there, and then it reverses curve right there. That's the frog is lifted and grown away. So I'm going to take this trim, and you can see where her heels are there, and you can see where that is right there. I'll actually mark on this one maybe. Easy to see the stuff that needs to come off though. But I'm going to find her true frog. And the back of it is right there. That's where that crease is. So all of this is dead frog. It's a big chunk of dead frog. So I'll just take that off right now. There's a shape to that. I don't take it off just any old way. There's a certain shape. There's a valley in the middle. And there's a bevel on the outside. And then this gets rolled forward so I can get the back of this with my rasp. So that this, once again, I think the most important part, and this is kind of cool, you can do this with a rasp. You don't need to do it with a knife. It takes longer to do it with a rasp. But the cool thing about doing it with a rasp, if you're beginning, a lot of people are afraid to pick this thing up and start going to town with it, and I don't blame them. Either cut yourself, you cut the horse, or you take too much. You can do a lot of this work with a rasp if you know how to get in places. For instance, I'm coming right along the inside of this frog, and I'm using the quarter right there to get down in there. And then I can't get it from here because my elbow's in the way. But if I bring my arm over here, then I can get it this way. If I can't get it that way, I can get it this way. One way or the other, I need to move my body so that I can get the frog the shape the way it's supposed to be, and not what just is comfortable for me to do. So here, now you can feel that. You can see how that's all just like tire rubber. It gives when I push on it. But it feels good. It feels like just a hard rubber ball or like a tire. And it's not different than the consistency here so much. It's a gradual turn and not soft to hard. Which when they build up this hard stuff out here, they won't step on it. They go out to their toe, and then their toe gets flat from stretching out from all their weight being on the toe. So you want to develop this here, and this in here, you keep that soft and properly shaped. But now if you look how high the heels put the frog off the ground. So I've got to bring the heels back down to that, or they'll just grow right back and not be able to get self-maintained. And if you look here at the seat of corn or the back of the sole, you can see, I'll take these bars out so you can see how high those heels are. And I'll finish trimming up this frog so it's clean. Okay. There's a little bit of retained sole right around the toe. You can still see it's still chalky. These bars, I'm not taking them deeper than the sole plane. And you can see right there, I'm going through the chalky stuff because the chalky stuff is dead, the waxy stuff is live. And you can see again now how high these heels are above that frog. I can't touch the frog anywhere with that heel in the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to roll the heels forward. I'm not going to lower them as much as I'm going to roll them from forward and get these hooks off the back. So I'm starting here, and I'm going to use that edge of that frog so that this heel rolls with that shape, rolls the same as that shape all the way across. So this surface, this surface, this surface, this surface, this surface, and this surface all mirror each other across. And if you want to get it from the side, you can see that. You can see that this heel is got a big corner in the back, but this frog rolls real nice. I'm going to make the heel roll with the frog. So, and I'm starting at the end of this collateral groove. I'm not going to go higher than that, is what I'm saying. And I'm not going to go deeper than the seed of corn right there. Okay, once I have this, I can go over, and now my heels roll the same as my frog. I'm going to bevel the inside of these heels a little bit and roll the outside of these just to put a little tumble on there, like if she was doing it for herself in the rocky terrain kind of area. Okay, now if you look across there, you'll see how these match each other. And I can show you from the back. You can see how that works. She'd land heel first there, and she'd roll through that, and she'd be touching her frog right there. And that, when her heel first impact, would send vibrations up into this soft tissue to develop it. And then as she rolled her weight over, she's got room to push that frog down in against the ground, and then she would the pressure would come off and break over right there. So this part of the foot is what pumps up this part of the foot. And then I just finished the trim by keeping the toe. The rest of it's just keeping the wall off the ground. But the most important part of the trim starts in the center and works its way out. So right at the middle one there, and that's right at the middle one. So his heels are level to her coffin bone too. And I didn't, I just brought them down the same height above the seed of corn in the back of the sole, so they've been level for 2.5 weeks. And here I'm just taking the outer wall equidistant around the inner wall all the way around the foot. And that's where you get rid of your flares from, and that's how you center up the foot. You can't do it from there. I mean, you can do it from the top, but it's not as accurate. Okay. Seed of corn was the question. It's also, I call it the back of sole sometimes, so it's not a technical term. People realize what that is. But basically, I'm going to outline the sole here. It's just a little half moon. Looks like a little half moon right there. Okay, everything inside there is sole. It actually goes back to here, but those bars have overgrown it. These are the bars. And the bar is just an extension of the wall. The wall comes around here. The coffin bone, I'll go back to that. The sole grows from the bottom of the coffin bone. So essentially, here's your coffin bone. And the sole grows from it. So it's just, because the wall is telescopically shaped, or they call it a frustroconical.
And it flares out.
It flares out. The sole is the same shape of as the coffin bone. It's just, further out, so it's bigger by the time it gets to the ground. So the whole trick to this is trimming. The wall keeps growing, and if you don't maintain it properly, it gets too big for the size of the coffin bone and you get flat, belled out feet. But if you can trim to the sole plane and around your coffin bone, you can gradually grow that hoof back in to be set to get that coffin bone centered. You grow it takes months to do, years to do, to get it right, but you can grow the hoof capsule around the coffin bone and get it to mirror, get this to be a concentric shape around get the wall to be a concentric shape around the coffin bone, pretty much, in all directions. So seed of corn is the back of the sole, so that grows from the back of the wings of the coffin bone are right here. The bars grow from the inside of the wings. The wall grow from the outside of the coffin bone. It'd be helpful if I had a coffin bone right here to show you, but you can see there's already deviations starting here. This bar, everything's kind of wanting to go that way. So the back of her foot's pretty symmetrical and balanced, but she still, because of the way she stands, she has a crooked leg, and it wants to go this direction. So it's real critical to be able to see that before it gets too bad. So we're talking about the seed of corn and bringing having the seed of corn, which is right here, and the heel purchase, which is right here, and the frog, the back of the frog, which is slightly weight-bearing or passively weight-bearing. You want these X's to pretty much be in a tight relationship. So you might have the heels be a 1/16 or an 1/8 inch taller than the seed of corn of the frog, which makes the back of the frog and the seed of corn at the same height, with the heel purchase being slightly higher, because when they put their weight down, they push the frog into the ground. So that's why you're keeping an eye on the seed of corn. You're also looking at, or I should say, I'm looking at symmetry in a horse, and I'm looking here, the dimple of the back of the foot, the tip of the frog. This is just from hoof mapping. And then I'm going to move my rasp out to the widest part of the sole, which is right about there. And the wall changes because it grows forward. If I move the rasp out here, I'm going to look for the apex of that curve of the foot, so it's right there. So the widest part of her sole is right there. And that's significant because that's where the bars should end. And then the majority of her foot, or at least half the foot, should be behind that. You can see right here, she's got a lot of foot in front. Well, not a lot, but I'd say it's 50-50 because here's the back of the foot.
Got a little bit of wall too.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of wall, so I'm going to change that relationship. She's also, the frog tip is growing forward. I'm going to put a little mark right here where the frog tip is, and then I'm going to trim it a little bit to the true tip. And the true tip is right here. That's almost a 1/4 inch difference. And that's about the distance that this is migrated. Here's her wall bevel. That's where it belongs. Everything's drifting that forward that way. Here's the back of her foot. Here's the back of her heel. That's the part that's making contact with the ground right there. That's drifted. That's a 1/2 inch that's drifted. So I'm going to try to correct this, that, and this all in my trim. Won't make it happen, but if I can get it in one trim, that'd be great. If not, it takes a few. Oh, by the way, this too is migrated to there. That frog is migrated there. So that's migrated. This is migrated. These have migrated. You can see that goes all the way to there. That's where it belongs. That belongs here. It's migrated to there. Here's the widest part of the foot. So I'm going. That's an important landmark. And I'm also looking at how much foot is on this side versus how much foot is on that side. If I look here, I've got a 1/2 inch of sole on this side. If I look over here, I've got 3/4 of an inch of sole on this side. So that foot likes to migrate there, that direction. So I just want to keep that in check. I'm not going to fix it and make it perfect. I'm just not going to, I'm going to try to not let it get any worse, or maybe improve it over time. Here again, start with making the foot comfortable. With the frogs, they have a lot of sensation right in here. This is supposed to feel rocks and ground and deviations in the earth. and if it gets all hard, they just stay off it, go onto their toe, and they don't get to feel the ground. It's just some raggedy dead stuff. Again, these heels aren't, I'm not going to lower them, I'm just going to shape them. She keeps them lowered because she moves heel first everywhere she goes. So I just follow the sole plane here, and I come up out right at the end of the seat of corn. I come up out of that. I leave those heels a little sharp, and then I roll them forward and follow this. I'm going along that frog edge, that plane, to get that heel knocked down, and then I'll just take the inside edge off. This one I'm going to push down a little bit harder because it's the long heel, and you can see that yellow in there. That yellow means that it's a little bit too much pressure. It's wanting to kind of break off because, or it has a sensation of that. So that's another way you can check for balance. That's a pretty good color in that heel, and this one is a little darker. There's even a little red right in there.
And there's that blood flow in?
That's a bruise. That's from it going like this when she steps, because it's gotten too long this way. Even in 2.5 weeks, it's gotten a little too long for her because she likes to have the same amount of weight bearing on both feet, on both heels at the same time.
So stuff can change quickly.
Yes, overnight, literally. So there's that square. So this heel right here, right now, is measuring about 1/4 inch longer, further away from the coffin bone than this heel over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I have it in the frog, I can take it, but you can see the frog's already touching my rasp. So I can't take that heel down. She's gonna have to live with that being crooked, and I'm gonna have to keep my eye on that over the next few trims and really keep that low so that this frog will give up, kind of slough off, and then I can bring that heel back down. But I can't do it now, or she just wouldn't put weight on her heels, and she wouldn't be walking right, and I'd kind of compromise a lot of her movement if I tried to get that right now. But I will get it. It's something she can't have, that heel being 1/4 inch higher than that heel. You can see that this one's overdeveloped, is bigger than that one. And and she's not like that all the time. That's just something that, it's a maintenance thing. She has a crooked leg, and it gets crooked if I don't stay on top of it. And they also get really addicted to something that needs to be mentioned. They get really addicted to frequent trims. The more you trim, the more you need to trim. You can't just do it every once in a while. It's something you pretty much have to commit to, or you just go right back to the old stuff. Not only that, but once you start trimming that way, their feet change fast. Okay, so I'm going to do a little, show a little technique on using this hoof knife and making it easy, and have some control so you don't cut something you don't want to cut. And what I'm doing here is I'm putting the knife, and this is a really nice knife. It's a Tosakai, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's a real nice sharp knife, lasts long. And I need to get this bar, and I need to get this bar, and I need to get the frog inside and out. So that's why I've got a loop knife here. That's what I always use. But there's a technique to it that makes it easy. I don't take big swipes because I don't want to cut myself. I don't use an apron. I don't want to cut through here and get my wrist. I don't want to cut through here and get her tendon. So if I use a lot of control, I've got a lot of power, and I can get this exactly how I want. So what I do is I don't grip this knife here, and I don't pull up. I set it, and I use the back of my thumb on this side to push up like that. I'll come around here, and I'll use this part of my thumb. This is guiding it, this push, that's driving it. So I'm just holding it kind of firm, and then taking little tiny bites, like peeling a potato. And then right here, same thing. I've got my wrist bent around, and I'm taking little tiny edges, but you can see the knife doesn't go very far. I'm not doing this kind of stuff. And here I want to shape up, take the raggly edges off this frog. I'm using that part of my thumb, and I've got leverage off this hoof wall, and I'm coming right along here. I'm using my wrist to drive that up and get a really clean edge there. Here, it's hard to do. It's one place I've got to just kind of take my time. Haven't developed a technique for that. And then here, I'm laying my thumb against my forearm and taking little tiny bites right out of the inside of that central sulcus. Here, I'm going to use my elbow against my knee, and I'm going to use the back of my thumb to take little bites out of that. There, I've got to have a real sharp knife to do this. And then I want to get down in here. Again, I'm using my thumb and pushing the knife that way with little short strokes. And then I've got good symmetry in that trim that way. That's her self-trimming that foot herself in this track system for 2.5 weeks. And that's all that's a real, what I'd consider a maintenance trim, a real minimal trim for maximum effect. And just feels better to her than what she had, but it's not an overhaul. It's just a minimal change. Other than the fact it's her weight-bearing hoof, so she's right side dominant here, so this one gets kind of out of whack, and that collateral groove right there is just deeper than this one, and there's not a whole lot, so I just know that about her, and I don't try to level these collateral grooves. Maybe one day, but I've not been able to get them level yet. It's probably one of the only feet that I've ever seen like that, so it's just something I respect about her feet. But it's a good foot. Again, this is about 2.5 weeks of growth and whatever wear she's been able to do, self-wear she's been able to do in the track system. Again, no heel work. She's been maintaining her heels for years on her own. I don't have to lower her heels. Makes it real nice on her, the rest of her body, that she can stay in the same heels every day. I didn't lower them, I just shaped them. Again, the consistency of this frog should give like rubber. That's what feels good. It shouldn't be hard or spongy. It should be hard like rubber, and that's what makes them want to use the back of their feet and be bouncy.
Yeah.